You've spent the last 5 years building a fortress. A walled garden of ISO 27001, SOC 2, GDPR audits. You've got pretty much two-factor authentication on everything, including a office kettle. You've got your internal VPNs. You swept out all the sticky notes from underneath all keyboards with the passwords. Your chief security officer has self-induced night tremors from stress. Everything is locked down tighter than your budget after Q3. And then Becky from marketing uploads your next product launch into ChatGPT because, I quote, "It helps with bullet points." Now, if you are among those who didn't get the gravity of what I've just said, you might be one of the Beckys in marketing. That's why we are concerned about that, and that's why in this video we will go through a couple of strategies that you can implement in your company to still be friends with your new AI intern friend, yet maintain the key thing that is important in the corporate world, and that is control. We are at the stage where we have no regulation whatsoever, no experience about whether that data will eventually leak or not. And not surprisingly, we've seen already a couple of situations when someone uploaded a diagram and a PDF with a commissioned model for certain automotive industry manufacturer, and via the large language model, aka AI, it leaked to the competitor. None of your staff is telling you that they are using AI tools already. They just do, quietly, at lunch, during meetings, sometimes in meetings. Right now, someone in the marketing department asks ChatGPT to create a few bullet points for your next product launch. Your finance team is summarizing financial reports with Claude, and your dev team are submitting stack traces into Copilot like it's Stack Overflow 2.0. Don't blame them. They're not malicious. They're being efficient, which in corporate terms, where control is everything, is far more dangerous. It's like discovering your kids trying to learn how to drive your car on the access road to your house, using YouTube Shorts as tutorials. If you don't audit this now, your regulators will do the audit for you, and they will be nowhere near as gentle. Some of you may think that you have an AI policy. Well, some of you may have copied that from ChatGPT, which is poetic, bordering on pathetic. And some of you really may already have an AI use policy buried somewhere in the corporate portal where no one really finds it and no one cares. And look, I get it, policies are boring. But without that policy in place, the chances are that someone will ask to rewrite that client contract, or segment the customer list per revenue potential, or submitting code snippets from your cracking good, life-changing mobile app into Copilot are much higher than without having it in place. It's not the one-size-fits-all solution. It will not prevent the most mishaps, but at least it sets the legal boundaries of responsibilities of what is acceptable and what is not. For some of you who are longer around when the internet kicked in or when the social media kicked in, you may remember that at those days, corporates were introducing internet use policies, what you could and couldn't do on your laptop, accessing the dangerous World Wide Web, and also what you can or cannot share, even as a private person, as an employee of a specific corporation. And then if you accidentally did share something that your corporate Karen, aka your manager, deemed inappropriate, you would be called the next day after you did that and say, how would you possibly be able to share something like that on a social media when it caused almost a security breach? Whether it did or not, it didn't matter. But you had a tool of regulating what your control-hungry corporation would deem as appropriate or inappropriate. And your staff, whether they liked that or not, would have to fit into those boundaries. There's shadow IT and there's shadow AI. It's like shadow IT, but turbocharged with bad decisions and wrapped into nice UX interface. You think your people always use 110% of the time the officially approved AI tools, or any tools for that matter whatsoever? Think again. They are installing browser extensions, AI-powered writing tools, productivity bots. And then there's this lovely little Chrome extension that helps you shortcut pre-written blocks of text so that you don't have to rewrite it at every occasion all the time. And we won't mention the name for the legal purposes. But that lovely little browser extension, for example, comes with security settings that it can access all your browsing history, even in the incognito mode. And no, we don't think that they would collect all the data to read and spy on you, but in the small print it says, we don't access and use your data except for approved use cases that you agreed on. And then when you look into what are those approved use cases, you don't know what these really are, but chances are, could it be maybe our AI model will be trained on your data? And when their AI model is trained on your data, who can guarantee you that your data will not leak through that specific AI model? No one at this point in time, because we don't have that experience. But of course, at least your pre-written templated email recalled from your writing assistant looks cool, at the expense of, again, corporate control, protection of intellectual capital, and maybe upcoming lawsuits. So you really want to use ChatGPT, or for that matter, more than one of the language models. And at the same time you want control. Well, it sounds like oxymoron because, well, it is. But you might remember from the older days, which are not that far ago, but it feels like ages, we had those things called API gateways. They are now turbocharged and specially adopted for the AI era. And all the big vendors, such as F5, Cloudflare, Microsoft, or if you are into some open source, the good old Apache, or maybe Glue, or if you are really for an old dinosaur, you can go even for an IBM AI gateway, which is probably someone they bought 2 or 3 weeks ago and now blue washed into their portfolio. What does an AI gateway provide? In simple terms, you can imagine it as a translator with a clipboard. Whenever a potentially sensitive information is about to be leaked out, it identifies it and prevents that from happening. Or, in plain boring language, you get standardized API over number of language models, monitoring, tracking, cost control, authentication and authorization, prompt management, resilience, including retries and load balancing. Why do you need one? Observability, reliability, security and governance, independence on the underlying AI models, and scaling. Whew, that was quite a tough one to deliver without a teleprompter from the top of my head. And I think at this point I deserve a subscribe and like button. What do you think? Thank you so much. After hearing through all those buzzwords that I've just delivered, maybe you want a one-liner again for clarity, right? And that one-liner is fairly simple. It can redact names, or for that matter, any sensitive information. It can strip tokens. It can throttle usage, and it can log the whole lot for your future or continuous auditing. So, in simple words, get an AI proxy and sleep better at night. Self-hosted large language model. Yeah, the wet dream, the total control, no OpenAI, no leaks, just you and your wonderful internal AI tool ring-fenced from the entire world. Well, it's a tempting idea for as long as you realize that your data center screams when it should run all your Kubernetes workloads, let alone the 13 billion parameters AI model, which probably needs more virtual RAM than your CFO will ever have budget for. Yet still, for the right use case, your internal chatbot, your help desk summarization tool, or your coding assistant trained on your own repository might not be a bad idea. Just, however, if you run your own AI model, don't expect it to have personality, don't expect it to understand sarcasm, or that 100 plus page document EU regulation on the shape and size of bananas. And if you are tempted to train your foundation model on your own, please don't, unless your data center sits on unlimited free nuclear power and NVIDIA is able to throw at you hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of GPUs for free, and you have the patience of a Buddhist monk. The harsh truth, my friends, is that the AI is the big tech game. It's not meant to build by you and me in the garage because it bloody needs resources, the unlimited power, cooling and resources, the computing power, the GPUs and all that. That of course needs funding, and you're more likely not to beat the well-funded big players in this game with your self-trained foundation model in your garage, because you simply lack all the resources that those big guys can throw at it. Without monitoring and alerting, your employees post data to Claude like it's a confession booth. And that's a fact. A junior developer loads the log files into ChatGPT for a quick and dirty analysis of what might be wrong. But that log contains customer emails and phone numbers. Look, monitoring is not spying, it's an adult supervision. It's a self-defense mechanism. If you don't have that, well, let me give you a few examples who didn't have monitoring and alerting in place and policies and all that. Enron, WorldCom, Arthur Andersen, Theranos, FTX. You don't want to be in that club. Or do you? Trust me, you don't want to know everything that your employees are typing. But when someone sends customer details or critical contract details over to Claude or ChatGPT or XAI, Grok, whomever. You want to know about that. With proper alerts, you can spot on time things like large prompt sizes, prompt injection attempts, suspicious URLs, and API key leaks. And that's worth it, isn't it? One final example is that someone on LinkedIn a couple of months ago, or some period of time ago, said that by uploading a CRM information into Midjourney and together with a couple of prompts coupled with ChatGPT, he was able to create a visualization of a customer persona. Well, cool, nothing wrong with that. Probably all of us would like to use something like that, but then imagine you are in a specific niche, and when that information leaks, everyone in your business, your competitors, know your customer and your customer profile, and they can target the same customer and undercut your offers and build better relationship and stuff like that. And as a result, your business might be in trouble. So just think about that one. The rule of thumb is, if you cannot prevent your employees to share all the information or cut them out of the AI tools, but at least you can have a deterministic control of what's being shared. And when someone accidentally is, and the AI gateway couldn't prevent it, at least you have audit trail in the form of monitoring and auditing and alerting that something like that happened, and you can address that internally for the future cases. What else can help? Well, AI literacy training would be probably one of the low-hanging fruits after implementing all those fancy things like alerting, monitoring, AI gateway. You want your staff to be trained, not necessarily scared. We don't scare people unless they work in the legal. And let me guess, maybe your company already has all the cybersecurity trainings in place, such as the ones where there are those phishing emails simulations, and maybe you still even have a PowerPoint somewhere about how dangerous the USB keys are. Yet, no one told your team about what prompt injection is. No one explained that AI hallucination isn't a funny trip, but it's a legal liability. You need to do AI literacy training for your team. Real world, real damage, to avoid or at least minimize the chance to repeat those mistakes, such as rewriting CVs for hiring managers, rewriting customer contracts, or producing the visualization of that R&D model that happens to be under fairly strict NDA. Because saying I don't know when the regulators knock on your door is not a legal defense strategy. It's a confession. Now, imagine you are a cybersecurity IT services provider company that sees a huge opportunity in the AI security market. Well done, you are onto something here, definitely. It is an uncharted territory, unfortunately, still. And the good start is always policy, proxy, monitoring, alerts, training. These are the topics where you can structure your topics along. Start offering those things in bundles. Yes, the actual bundles. You know, the small and medium enterprises, the audit, policy, and proxy is a good start always. And it doesn't hurt. It's basically like, oh, we get the foot in the door and we will see how your staff uses the AI, and then we build policy around that and we do some training. That always works. That couldn't hurt. And everyone would, in their right mind, would have budget for that. The next package that follows on could be your full enterprise lockdown with CM alerts and the DLP integration and full AI traffic control and management. And of course, the biggest one, if you have the expertise and the guts for it and you can price it well, is, oh God, we screwed up, full recovery plan for those who are in trouble and need help. And look, I don't want to be pessimistic because I never am. I call myself skeptical because I'm fed up with the nonsense in the IT industry. But there will be people who screw up in the AI game on the user side of things because, as I said before, it's an uncharted territory. And you know, when your clients eventually, as a response to your bundles, say, well, do we really need all this? Then their developers accidentally paste the production API token into Copilot. They might be in your enterprise plan signed up in no time at all. So how would we close off this video? Look, AI is not Skynet. It's worse. It's seductive. It's helpful. It's efficient. And it already lives in your organization whether you like it or not. And that's the scary part. And you know, I don't want to scare you. That's not the purpose of this video. Well, so did. I do want to scare you actually for a moment. Because, you know, the problem here that we face, it's not really the AI. It's us humans who tend to use AI tools with the same caution as someone forwarding the phishing email to test the team. You want the benefits of the AI without the horror stories? You are on the right path. And you are probably one of the 1 to 2 to 3% of people who think about the risks that this wonderful world of new AI tools bring into each of our lives. I personally use AI tools every day to help me script the videos and to help me with variety of tasks that I would otherwise have to hire contractors for. And don't get me wrong, AI is not going to go away. It's not the blockchain or Web3 nonsense that was occupying all the LinkedIn feeds a couple of years ago. AI is here to stay because it's actually useful. So stop pretending the elephant is not in the room and that there is no problem whatsoever. And act accordingly. Do the audit, implement the alerting and monitoring, know what is used where in your organization, and take measures that give you a little bit of control and security in your organization on how to use these tools. When you're done pretending you've got this, get your AI audit done before your regulator does it faster than you did, and then it will be nasty. Skeptikal Techie, over and out. Cheers.